both players' expansions are pretty much saturated. Both players holding off on making their miners, although I gotta say Zerg's econ is a lot more saturated than Protoss is with a lot. And here comes a battle. Charge upgrade up, and this force of Zerg is going to have to retreat, and these Zealots are just going to just track down these units and just charge in and just kill them. There you go, a Hydralisk going down, second Hydralisk going down, and this army right here is going to just die. And that's the main issue of why many people complain about this long road, is because once you get chased down, your army is basically going to be decimated. And back here, wow, just a huge army. Zerg on 2 bases, as you can see, can produce very fast, and battle going down right here, storm dropping down, and these units, these ranged units of Mengsk is just going to have to pull back, and it's absolutely destroyed. And the Zealots also go down. Zealots very fragile to his Hydralisk, and also earlier getting caught in the Psionic Storm. And Zerg right now using that time wisely and grabbing another Expo right here, the high yield Expo. He has control over the site right here, and this Protoss actually putting a forward pylon just in case to keep watch right here. And if he chooses, he'll be able to attack from this end after he finds out about this hatchery and just reinforce using his warp gates. Basically, these warp gates could teleport units anywhere onto the field as long as it's within this radius around here. And just as I say that a High Templar comes warping in, these Zerglings get ready to attack. Well, not really getting ready to attack, probably going to go up here, take a look, see what's there, and Zealots continuing, and High Templar continuing to go back here. And that's the reason why this map produces such long games, because just the map distance. Can't emphasize that enough. And he's actually canceling this Nexus right here. There's no way that he could reinforce it, although his warp gates are down, cooldown is back up, so he's forced to just get rid of that expansion and instead getting the one down here. But he still does not realize, very crucially, that Zerg has a base right here. But Zerg, oh, never mind that. Zerg does not know. If Zerg had instead a Zergling right here, he would be able to see this base right here, but instead he has an Overlord, so that's not going to be able to see much. But hold on with that thought. There's Zerg forces on both sides, and not sure if this is the wisest choice, but being able to take on one High Templar but losing a lot of Zerglings in the process and a Roach. So Protoss is going to have a very strong army right here, and all of these Zerg units get wiped out. But more Zerg units come around, but Mengsk, not watching it carefully, loses all of it, and Mengsk is in huge trouble. Mengsk is mined out in his main, and Protoss is too, but then his army is basically wiped out, and that's a huge but right here, even more and more army. He's just reinforcing his army, not making drones to capitalize on this high yield right here. Although now beginning to make drones, but this army right here is actually very powerful. There's a lot of High Templars. The unit balance is not that great, but it's still powerful nonetheless. All of these High Templars will be able to kill this entire army if the Zerg player is not careful. And look at that, the Hydralisk aren't attacking at all and just running around getting killed, and the entire Zerg army is going to die. And apparently this Zerg base is going to fall also if he's not going to be careful. And Roach is coming in here. The High Templars still have decent amount of energy, and Roach is coming in, should be able to, actually no, this hatchery previously damaged by those Zealots might be able, the Protoss might be able to take it down if he focus fire, but no, he chooses not to do that, instead going for the Roaches. If the Protoss player had noticed this, I'm pretty sure he could have taken down the hatchery, but instead going for those Roaches. But those Roaches are just very high armored, and it's actually 2-1 armor. He's continuing to upgrade here. He has 2-1 upgrades, and the Protoss player, let me get a sight of it here, just 1-1. So Roaches, gotta say, with 2 armor upgrades, his armor is 4, which is very, very high. It's probably the highest of all of the land units, save the Immortal. But these Zealots going in here probably not gonna have a chance to actually. Never mind, hold that thought. But yeah, these Zealots aren't going to be able to do much against this Roaches. But excuse me, High Templar is going in, and yep, keep on talking back to myself. All right, so more High Templars going in, and I don't agree with this unit composition. He needs some more sentries. He has a lot of gas, and sentries would be perfect for his situation since he has a lot of gas. And sentries are very, very powerful units, and they have a Guardian Shield and also Force Field. So those are able to just reduce the damage of all ranged units and, well, all enemy ranged units, and basically block the enemy's path so that the micro of your enemy will be hindered while you are able, while you're doing that, you're able to just cast all of these storms all over the enemy army while it's running around, trying to get a good position. But nonetheless, the Protoss player is doing fairly well, and if he had some sentries, these overlords and overseers wouldn't be around here just watching these areas. So this is another reason why sentries are good against Zerg, because basically it just prevents Zerg from having all of these watches out here, just making sure that the Protoss doesn't get any control of these watchtowers, and Protoss coming in here, just crucially storming that ramp and delaying that, and these Zealots right here are going to try to destroy these tech buildings, but not focusing down on any of them, and was able to kill. Oh, I wasn't sure what that was. My bad, guys. But hopefully you guys saw it earlier. Just rewind. Actually, I could rewind now and see it, but let's go ahead and do that. An infestation pit, which is the requirement to create a hive, and we actually do see a hive coming up here, and there might be some higher tech buildings out here, because basically with hive tech you could make brood lords, and brood lords just destroy Zealots and ground army, and air would not be a bad idea for Zerg right now, especially high tech air such as the brood lord. But that transition phase is going to be very crucial if he decides to do that. And finally, sentries going out. Both players' economies are very, very, very high on gas right now, surprisingly. And if these players were to have macro a little bit better, all of these minerals right here, all these idle minerals could be spent on some more armies, and he should make some, well, no, this is a good amount of warp gates here actually, but he's concentrating on the battles over here, and just mass Zerglings. Still 2-1 upgrade, and Protoss still on 1-2 actually. So the upgrades are fairly even, although Zerg right now 3 bases, 4th making this Protoss right here, Protoss pylon right here, just making cannons right here to interfere with this hatchery. I'm not sure why he placed that hatchery so far up and not right here. Probably to see what Protoss's response would be, and he's just making cannons right here instead of just sending his army up there. He's probably trying to divert Protoss to spend some of his army to get up here while he tries to take this base down. Basically diverting it, and that's actually a very good idea, but then I'm not sure if it was a good idea to place a hatchery right here, because it will be very fragile to future attacks. And the Zealots still coming in right here. These Zealots attacks have not been very effective actually, and it's basically trading an army for an army each time, and it's not very good of a choice to just go in here to try to do that, because basically it's weakening his army, and Protoss army when gathered up is very, very powerful. So